Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the co-owner and creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I'm going to discuss with you what love feels like to a dismissive avoidant attachment style. Okay, and in this video, we are going to be discussing under the pretenses that the dismissive avoidant is a dismissive avoidant currently. They're not working on their attachment style. They are not, trying to change their attachment style. They're not self-aware in terms of what attachment theory is and how to navigate their attachment traumas. Like, there isn't really any work being done. I can add a little subsection at the end for how this will shift. If somebody is working on becoming more secure and they are aware of their attachment patterns and their subconscious mind and these different things. But for the sake of this video, it's mostly going to be about your day-to-day DA who's sort of going through life, doesn't know about attachment theory, isn't really necessarily doing much self-reflection, etc. Okay, so first and foremost, before I start, if you guys need any support, we are going out of our way to be as supportive as possible to our entire community right now on YouTube, inside the school, everywhere. So we are offering 25% off of course bundles. So like bundled memberships, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, anything within that time frame. There's 25% off. You can use the coupon code with you in the description box below. Or if you are out of work or there's any sort of challenging experience that you have going on in your life right now financially, and you want to be a member of the community, you're really looking for community support, connection, it's a great time to learn and grow, then you can reach out to our team at Personal Development School, and we'll give you some options there and try to help you as much as possible. I will say, like, during this time, during COVID, one of the best things you can possibly do is be intentional about how you use your time and try to set goals for yourself in this time. So, whether it's working on yourself and building a community online and doing something like that through the school, or whether that's just finding that in your day-to-day life, like reaching out to people or friends and trying to have some sort of community discussion. It's just a really important thing. And I want to highlight something that I'm going to say today in, before I start this video too, in sort of the time frame, because I think it was Sunday, so just a couple days ago, that at least in the US, the quarantine was extended for another 30 days. And I know some people are saying it's going to be quite a bit longer. We can go through this little adjustment period, but usually there sort of hits a tipping point when people are isolated and not getting their connection needs met, where it can possibly, depending on your personality, if you're very introverted, it might have a different impact. And if you've got a really good relationship to yourself and maybe to God or spirituality, and you've got lots of good connection setups with talking to friends on the phone or Skype or Zoom or, different things that you can do. But if you're in a fairly isolated context and maybe you live alone, eventually there will be a bit of an impact on mental, emotional well-being, because human beings are not made to really be isolated. We're very much social beings, and one part of our wiring is for attachment, right? So I really want to advise everybody that, now is a time where we might see in the next few weeks that people do start, feeling a little bit more challenged by the circumstances, and it can take a toll on individuals a little bit more than it has. So, build a support system for yourself. Reach out to friends, family, tell people you care about them. You might need to lean on them, or that they can lean on you. Like, maybe this is your environment. Maybe you already work at home. You're an introvert. Maybe you have a house full of people that you live with anyway, so you're totally fine. Reach out to those around you who might need a little bit of love and support. Take a few moments out of your day, if you can, to send somebody a nice text or a compliment or encouragement or whatever it is. So either way, like, let's really work as a community to support each other during this time in whatever means possible. And again, please know I'm here to support you guys. And if there's anything you need or want to type in the comments below, I'm going to make sure I keep reading them and make sure I'm just in tune with what your guys' needs are, and so that I can be as supportive to our community as possible as well. So with that being said, let's talk about what love feels like to a dismissive avoidant. So I get this question asked all the time, and I'm going to cover two parts. I'm going to cover dismissive avoidance or fearful avoidance with a very strong dismissive avoidance side. So fearful avoidance that are leaning DA, okay? So number one, what really fulfilling love feels like to a dismissive avoidant is contentment, security, trust, harmony, consistency, these sorts of things. So it's interesting, right? Because when we look at anxious, preoccupied attachment styles or fearful avoidance, what we often see is that they seek that extreme passion and those fireworks, and that's what they tend to associate with love. And where that becomes interesting is in their other relationships, and I'll talk about this. I'm going to do a series around this for the other attachment styles. What happens is sometimes DAs or FAs can confuse love with that state, that honeymoon state, that neurochemical high, and that can actually prevent them from moving into the next stages of a relationship that are important and necessary in order for the life cycle of the relationship to evolve, and thus the relationship to evolve as well. So dismissive avoidance, if they had it their way, they would all sort of jump right into the security phase right away. They might even be okay with passing through the honeymoon phase if they got to the security phase faster. And so they don't really seek this extreme passion. They tend to value, connection, absolutely. And they do crave and require a certain degree of depth. And they can, when they practice vulnerability and they open up, they can start to build those connections at a deeper and more intimate level. However, what I constantly hear historically dismissive avoidance say to me in the early stages before they're working on becoming more secure is that, a perfect relationship is like two people living together. They're a little bit independent, but there's a lot of security and harmony, and just everybody's content, and it's easy. That's a word I get all the time. It's just easy. It's effortless. These are the sorts of words that I hear. And so dismissive avoidants are very put off by conflict in relationships. It sort of like directly violates their desires for what love is. It would sort of be like for a fearful avoidant or an anxious preoccupied, to have a very, for the fearful avoidant, it would be like conflict as an analogy to the dismissive avoidant is like blandness as an analogy to the fearful avoidant, like surface level relationships, not much depth, not a lot of deep conversations. That's sort of the same thing. And for anxious, it would sort of be like somebody making them feel like not very wanted. And so conflict is a really big, it makes them really second guess relationships at times. And that's when they can really run into their deactivating thoughts and deactivating strategies. So fearful avoidance with a strong DA side, they usually value the depth of connection similarly to fearful avoidance, but they still have like this underlying deep need for that ease, that harmony, that peacefulness, that effortlessness in relationships. So it's interesting to sort of look at it and go, okay, am I meeting those needs for my partner? And let me be really clear. I know that a lot of the individuals who come here and are watching this channel are more so probably AAs, FAs, or secure individuals who often are trying to figure out their DA. And, just because I'm saying this is what they're looking for, this is what they need, it's not your job to people please anybody. Like, it's great if you're in a healthy relationship and you're both working towards figuring things out. Excellent. Show up, learn, use these skills, use these tools, but just always check in with yourself at the same time. I've had a tremendous amount of success working with people where they work with the DA and things really transform in their relationship. My long-term partner is a dismissive avoidant by nature. We're both very secure now, but had tools and proper communication habits and doesn't really present any DA qualities very much. Like certain personality traits, like still values and needs time alone and things like that. But a person's attachment style can change dramatically, but it's not your job, right? It's not your job as the girlfriend or the boyfriend to be a therapist, right? So just be clear, like as you're using these tools, and I want to start putting these disclaimers in these videos, make sure that you tune into your boundaries too. And you ask yourself, okay, like what's fair for me as I'm doing this work? What's correct for me? And, what can I do to show up that's not violating my boundaries? Okay. So DAs can experience a little bit of anxiety in their love. Like they can definitely have moments where they get anxious if the person's not communicating or there's a break in pattern, but generally that break in pattern or that lack of communication has to go on for quite an extended period of time compared to other attachment styles. And that anxiety isn't like a sort of trauma wound, like a huge anxious rush. It's more like like what's going on, like a slight worry, if that makes sense. So when a relationship has these qualities, contentment, security, harmony, the dismissive avoidant tends to be very fulfilled. This is what like the perception and perspective of ideal love tends to be in their subconscious mind. And it's interesting because some other attachment styles will feel the need to re-spark something if it's bland or there's not enough connection or depth or passion. And sometimes if, a pattern that I see individuals running into quite often is that they'll try to spark that with their DA through conflict. If they're not able to spark it through healthy habits and intentional sort of communication skills that continuously create connection, or at least intentional ideas of what you can keep doing and bringing into your relationship to keep making it healthier and more connected, so you're always growing together instead of ever growing apart. So the last thing I want to share with you is as a dismissive avoidant does become more secure, and again, not anybody's job, but it is your job to show up 100% in your 50% of the relationship and use tools and communicate effectively and do the work you can, because that's only going to ever benefit you long term for all of your relationships. But as they do become more secure, yes, they do tend to crave connection more. So that's a question I get a lot too. They do tend to value connection more, depth of connection more. They actually do experience a little bit more anxiety as a general rule if there is a disconnect. Not extreme, but it's there. They tend to value vulnerability more. They tend to value physical touch more as they become more secure. I'm actually going to, on this note, make a full video about what the dismissive avoidant tends to value more as they're evolving into a more secure version of themselves, because that, I'm sure, will answer a lot of questions you guys have as well. So I hope this makes sense for now. I'm going to do a little series on this, so I'll talk next a little bit more about what love feels like for a fearful avoidant, an anxiously attached individual, an anxious preoccupied, and a secure person. So thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next video, and please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you're getting a lot of value out of being here. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.